From the Fantasy Armchair, it is the Fantasy TyRant. Hey there, fellow fantasy football freaks, it's me, the Ty Guy, the Fantasy TyRant, back with another video to help you get through another week of the playoffs, and eventually to the promised land of a Super Bowl and Fantasy Football Championship. I'll be here to help you make those tough decisions you need to make to get that payday, or bragging rights, whatever you're playing for. Now this is my new ranking show, which came about because, well, I do benches and bumps and deep dives, but a lot of you were like, hey, you don't talk about all the players, we like to see what you think of all the players. So I was like, alright, I'll give you a ranking show then, and that's what this is. Now I haven't come up with a name for it yet, but more like I've come up with like a million names for it. So what I'm going to do is actually call it something different every week. More on that in a second. Now when trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do this, one of the things I want to do is just kind of give you a list, go through each of the names, just give you a little blurb for each guy, But then I realized, when all's said and done, we're looking at like an over half-hour show here, and no one should have to sit through this shit for a half hour. So instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the rankings on the screen, you can look at it, make your little notes, and while you're doing that, I'm going to go over some news and notes myself, just to give you an idea of where I was going with some of these rankings. But hey, if you find yourself needing more information than what I give you, you need information on individual players or whatever, like you need more information on players I didn't go in depth about, then what you'll want to do is join me Sunday morning on my Thinker Stinker Power Hour. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. 1 full hour of me answering all your burning fantasy football questions. So come have some breakfast beers with me, ask some questions, get some answers. Now my super freaks on Patreon, they get first dibs. And if you want more information on that, check out the link in the description below. There's a few membership tiers to choose from, whatever works for you. But for now, here it is, my rankings at every position. And this week, I'm calling that segment, The Rockefeller Rank. Coming at you right about now. No major surprises among the quarterbacks, really. I think Russ Wilson starts cooking again in a bounce-back game against the Jets. Kyler Murray was the top guy at the beginning of the season, but it seems like he's run out of gas. He's still top 10, but barely. If Taysom Hill starts this week, he should have an okay game against Kansas City. Not spectacular. He ain't gonna shit his drawers or anything. Jalen Hurts is an interesting play. He's like Lamar Jackson light. Oh wait, that's Josh Allen. Get it? Probably not. But anyway, I think he could have a good game here and is worth a pickup. And speaking of quarterbacks that are worth a pickup here in the playoffs, it seems like every year when the playoffs come around, some QB who I wouldn't have touched with a 10-foot pole the rest of the season becomes not only viable, but a spot start in the playoffs. I've won championships rolling with Kirk Cousins when he was in Washington, Case Keenum when he was on the Texans. Last year was Ryan Tannehill when he was breaking out for the Titans. This year, that guy for me is Mitch Trubisky. His fantasy playoff slate is fucking money. I have him conservatively ranked at number 15, but he could easily be a top 10 QB the next couple weeks. I love Baker Mayfield's matchup next week, but I hate his matchup this week. Bradbury's going to be giving him fits all day. Derek Carr's my shit list, so I don't talk about him. But one guy I will talk about is the return of the mustache, Gardner Minshew. Now I'm happy to see him back, but his return is soured by a matchup against the Ravens this week. I think next week will be a better one for him. Keep him on the bench this week though. And here's the running backs. Normally I'd have Dalvin Cook in the number 2 spot. I mean, that's kind of like his place to sit under Henry. But this week he faces Chicago and they can be pretty stout against the run. Hey, it's not like I knocked them down like 10 points or something. Just down to number 3. Aaron Jones would be higher up on this list if I weren't afraid of the usage of Jamal Williams. They just don't trust this guy. But for some reason, no matter who his coach is, Aaron Jones seems to get held back a lot. Maybe he's one of those guys who could just do it in spurts and they know that. Otherwise, I'd have him even further up the list. And without Run CMC there, I really like Mike Davis this week against the Green Bay Packers. They can be had on the ground, and Mike Davis is the right kind of back to take advantage. And as long as Jeff Wilson Jr. starts for the Niners, I've got him up here at number 15. I like him against Dallas. As many of you know, I'm not a huge fan of Kenyon Drake, but it appears that Chase Edmonds is going to be out this week, so that could bump Drake up into RB2 status. Melvin Gordon's just a sad case of Denver picking him up to basically cut his balls off as a punishment for how many times he's punished them when he was on the Chargers. I think he loses a lot of touches to Lindsey this week, so I don't have him up so high. And yeah, I couldn't take Zeke out of the top 20. I mean, I don't think he's going to have a great game, but he is Zeke Elliott, so he could just go on a fucking tear out of nowhere, and I don't think he's going to be complete shit. The Giants suck donkey dick against the run, so I think both Browns backs could have a decent day. And Lynn Bowden's got the gadget guy designation in most platforms. You can slide him in as either a running back or wide receiver. But either way, he's facing New England, so I don't see him as a top 20 running back or wide receiver really. But he should do okay in a desperate play if you need him. I'm afraid I might have Philip Lindsay rated too low on the chart here, but it's hard to trust anything on that offense. Recently, he's been getting a little bit more work, but that's not enough for me to bump him up to a starter, unless of course you're in a very deep league. And Todd Gurley's sad case continues. I think this is it for the once blue chip running back prospect. He's no longer that viable for fantasy purposes. Sad to see it, but it's true. As you can see at number 48, I've got the 49ers running back at that spot. No particular 49ers running back, just 49ers running back. I know that's a little bit of cheating, but Shanahanigans is a thing. However, if you look at the reports on game day, sometimes you get a little bit of a hint as to who they're going to put in. And if Mostert ends up playing, then he goes to number 15 where Jeff Wilson Jr. is, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. will probably take this number 48 slot.
Next up, wide receivers.
Stephon Diggs has fucking been killing it this season. Anybody who questioned them is a fucking idiot. I was saying going into this season, Stephon Diggs is going to be a top 10 wide receiver. He is. You're welcome. Enjoy him this week. And without Deebo Samuel this week, I think Brandon Ayuk is going to fucking kill it against Dallas. Have you watched this rookie play? This is a superstar in the making. And speaking of superstars, T.Y. Hilton has made his way back into superstar status after being pretty much a no-show earlier in the season. And what kind of game is Tyler Lockett going to have this week? I don't know. That's like trying to predict what you're going to get for Christmas from your drunk uncle. It could be something really great, could be complete shit. But either way, it'll probably be worth talking about. And I'd have old Brick Hands Johnson up higher on the list if he wasn't dropping balls like a pubescent tween. Curtis Samuel's been killing it as the gadget guy for the Panthers, and I think that'll continue this week against Green Bay. And Kiki Cutie's got a rough matchup against the Indianapolis Colts, but he is a starting wide receiver and the top target for Deshaun Watson, so that can't hurt matters. Michael Pittman was killing it earlier this year, but then T.Y. Hilton decided to wake the fuck up. And since then, Pittman's kind of taken a back seat, but he's still got an excellent matchup against Houston this week. I think he gets some work in. Devontae Parker pulled a hammy, but it looks like he's okay, although it ain't gonna matter, because he's got New England this week, and he's got Tua throwing to him, so he's probably gonna suck anyway. Sterling Shepard's been the top guy for Danny Dimes there, but it doesn't matter because Danny Dimes sucks. I don't see Sterling Shepard doing much more than 10 points or so. Same with Jamison Crowder. They're both top-level talents but have shit quarterbacks thrown to them. Plus Perriman, who I have 2 spots below Crowder, has been turning it on recently and stealing some of that production away from Jamison. And one of the biggest questions I get every week is what the hell we're going to do with Antonio Brown. I think he's got a good matchup this week against the Falcons, but Brady's not been throwing to him as much as we would have wanted him to. So maybe he sits on your bench. And I hope this Jalen to Jalen connection thing starts hitting there in Philadelphia, because Jalen Reagor is one hell of a talent. Gardner Minshew's back throwing the ball. Hopefully that livens things up for the Pussycats of Jacksonville, Keelan Cole included. Tight ends, you got it. Mark Andrews had a middle-of-the-road week last week, but this week he's got another juicy matchup. And with both Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin on the COVID list, Mandrews is going to man up and feast on those neutered kitties of Jacksonville. Yuck, eating cats? I didn't mean to go there. Sorry about that. Let's just say he's going to have a good day. And Cole Kmet's been on one recently. He's the late season tight end everyone needs to own. And he'll have a good game against the Vikings this week. Trubisky likes relying on him. And hey, it's been working out, so start him up. And Dan Arnold is a thing in Arizona. We gotta stop ignoring that. Kyler Murray likes this guy. I like this guy. Now he's got a tougher matchup against Philadelphia, but keep an eye on him. And with Tua at the helm, I can't start Mike Gesicki, especially against the New England Patriots. It's too bad because this kid kills it with Fitzy at the helm. Here come the defenses. If you've got the Rams D, you're probably gonna win this week. Look at that matchup. But hey, if the Buffalo Bills defense is available, pick them up. They've got a good matchup at Denver. The Browns might be one of the better pickups this week against dreadful Danny Dimes and the New York Giants. Tampa Bay's a great defense, but Atlanta scores a lot of points, so they're kind of middle of the road this week. The Arizona Cardinals can be sneaky good, or they can be sneaky horrible. It all depends on Jalen Hurts. And hey look, here's some kickers. Young Wei Koo's been a candidate for Kicker of the Year this year, but the Falcons face Tampa Bay this week and Brady's going to be on one, so Atlanta's going to need to score a lot, which means more touchdowns and less field goals. Hey, I still got Koo in the top 5, but he is down a little bit this week. Something went wrong with Matt Prater last week, but this week I think he's going to bounce back against the Tennessee Titans. But I still have him pretty low on the list. So there it is, folks, my rankings for the week. Now, if you ever have questions about this, just refer back to this video. Or if you want more in-depth answers, come see me Sunday morning for my Tinker Stinker Power Hour, and I'll answer all your questions about your specific players and your specific needs. That's 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, Sunday morning. And don't forget, we're 1 week away from our goal of 200 subscribers. We still need like 56 more. We're gonna need a Christmas miracle to get it done. And you better hope I can do it, because I've got something awesome planned for you if you do. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, give me a like, share it to people you know. Help me continue to make these videos so I can help you. And I'll see you all Sunday morning for my live show, my 1 hour Tinker Stinker Power Hour. Follow me on Twitter at fantasy_tyrant for, some like bonus takes and things like that. Little nuggets of joy all throughout the week. Good luck to you this week. I'm out. Peace.